All right.
Well, good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today for the Adirondack Park Invasive Plant Program Roundtable meeting for aquatic invasive species. Some of you may have joined yesterday for the terrestrial side of things, so thank you for showing up today as well. We're looking forward to this opportunity to get together and have a discussion about things that we did in 2025, the challenges and successes of that field season, and then also chat about our plans for 2026. So my name is Anna Hardiman. I am the AIS manager with APIPP, and I'm excited to get our conversation started today. It sure has been a snowy winter, and so I'm glad in some ways that we're able to do this virtually today because traveling may have been a bit difficult, but I hope you all are enjoying this in between time between the busy summer where we all have lots of projects and are able to use this time to connect with each other and talk about things that we want to accomplish in the coming year. So this is just an outline of where we're headed today. We'll start with some introductions and then head from there into our partner updates. So we'll hear from the Adirondack Park Agency, APIPP, the DEC, and the Natural Heritage Program. They'll give us some updates on what they've been up to, and we'll have a chance to ask questions after they have given their updates. And then we'll move into the roundtable discussion where we can hear from all of the other organizations and partners, individuals that are here today. So we all get a chance to hear what's going on and how we can collaborate before wrapping up at around 11:30. So all the folks who are registered, I put your name in here for the introductions to make this as smooth as possible. So thank you for pre-registering. If you did not see your name on this list, there are a couple of pages. There will be a space for you at the end to introduce yourself. I'm glad you're all here today. So we're going to structure this just pretty brief introductions, aiming for about 30 seconds. We're going to go with just your name, your organization or location, and then something you're looking forward to in 2026. So I'll start off again in case we've had a couple more people join. My name is Anna Hardiman, and I am the AIS manager with APIPP, the Adirondack Park Invasive Plant Program. And there's a lot to look forward to in 2026. But one thing in the very near future, next week, I'm looking forward to seeing some of you at the Applied Water Quality Conference at Paul Smith's. Um, all right, so we will hand it off to Aaron for the next intro.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Aaron Zeman. I'm a project analyst at the New York State Adirondack Park Agency in Raybrook, New York. I am your point person at the Adirondack Park Agency for permitting needs, any management activities that may require an Adirondack Park Agency wetlands permit. I'm the contact person for that kind of work. What am I looking forward to? I am loving the snow right now, but I had that thought in the back of my head that, geez, open water would be really nice right about now, and it's dangerous to have that thought in the middle of February. So I'm holding good hopes for a nice spring to come.
Great, thank you. All right, Ari.
Hello, good morning. I'm Ari Giller-Linewall. I'm the terrestrial invasive species manager with APIPP. So I'm also hosted by the Nature Conservancy. Our office is in Keene Valley, but I work with the team across the Adirondack Park up to the Canadian border, mostly on land with invasive plants and forest pests, but right up to water's edge with a lot of these riparian species like knotweed and Phragmites. So really appreciate the cross partnership. I'm mostly on land, but certainly appreciate you all doing work out on the water. What to look forward to for this year? It's definitely like the planning stages of hiring and permitting. I'm really excited to continue a lot of our projects with these widespread species at really important priority areas, but also address and really hone in on what the best approaches are for these forest pests that are emerging in the Adirondacks, like hemlock woolly adelgid. So Good seeing everybody.
Thanks, Ari. Next is Beth.
Hi, Beth Whitmore Stoller from New York State DEC out of the Warrensburg office and Lake Champlain Basin program. I am the Aquatic Invasive Species Outreach Specialist for all of DEC Region 5. The one thing I am looking forward to next year is March 21st is World Water Day at the Plattsburgh Mall. That's gonna be real fun.
Awesome. All right, let's hear from Bill.
I don't think he's on the line, Anna.
All right, and if Bill's not here, let's move to Brett.
I also don't see him on the line.
I know that Brian is here, so this is a winner.
I'm here if I can find my unmute one. It's great to see so many friendly faces. Brian Green, the APIPP program director. I am very much enjoying the Winter Olympics right now and the skiing. Also looking forward to those summer months when the lakes open back up, and also this summer is the Men's World Cup, so that will be a exciting event to look forward to.
Great. And Carolyn.
Hi, everyone. Carolyn Kessner, Conservation and GIS Analyst for APIPP. I handle a lot of the behind-the-scenes supporting of our data and our field staff. I'm looking forward to supporting another successful field season. And then on a little bit more of a personal note, I'm excited to finish my graduate school program this year.
Awesome. It's really exciting. Let's hear from Cole.
All right, sorry, I had to unmute there. Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
I'm the president of the Eagle Lake Property Owners Association, and we had a pretty exciting year in 2025. We were successful in treating for milfoil, and that treatment was amazing, the results. We do have some more beds that we hope to treat in 2026, so that's what we're looking forward to. Uh, so we're pretty excited about that. I'm looking forward to right now. I just put some taps out, so I'm looking forward to the maple syrup flowing, and also looking forward to learning from other people here. One thing I'm particularly interested in learning about is any tips on engaging property owners to become more active in the lake association. So if anybody has any tips there, I'm all ears. Thank you.
Thanks, Cole. All right, David. If we don't hear from David, we'll move to Emily.
Yes, hi, this is Emily Tyner. Can you hear me, Anna?
Yes, thank
Oh, okay. I'm the Lake Clear Association environmental chair, and I'm looking forward, even though I'm enjoying skiing now, I'm looking forward to serving Lake Clear and Lake Clear Outlet with Chris Burnham by boat and with other volunteers when they go in their own little boats and double check us. I'm also looking forward to snorkeling other lakes in the Adirondacks and looking for invasive species. Fortunately, none so far in Lake Clear and Lake Clear Outlet and the other little lakes nearby that I choose to snorkel in. That's
Awesome,
it.
thanks. It's always a great update. All right, Ev. And if not Ev, we'll move to Ezra. I did hear he was traveling today, so we may just get kind of connected later. Let's hear from Fate.
Hey everybody, my name is Faith Sewing-Nguyen. I'm the Invasive Species Data Analyst with the New York Natural Heritage Program and the IMAP team. Professionally, I'm excited that we're working on a lot of analyses. Then we're trying to kind of streamline and improve those. And I'm looking forward to seeing how that goes, such as our tiers and management outcomes. And then personally, I'm excited for baseball season, but more specifically, weather that is more amenable to sitting outside and watching a baseball game. So thanks, everyone.
All right, thank you. All right, next, Gail.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Good morning. I'm Gail Morehouse. I'm the president of the Racket Lake Preservation Foundation. And we have the largest natural lake in the Adirondacks, so it's pretty hard to prioritize sometimes what to do. But every year we have a robust harvesting program for variable leaf milfoil near the village area because that's the most active area on the lake. And we do educational and outreach programs. This year, I'm excited that we are going to be embarking on a partnership with SUNY Oneonta to see if we can provide some research opportunities for some of their graduate students in their lake management plan. And I hope that it becomes a long-term relationship. And we've also applied for a grant through the DEC's Environmental Protection Fund to have another complete macrophyte study done of our lake, compare it with one that we had done in 2020, see if there's any kind of trends analysis that we should be concerned about. And also in establishing a database that's user-friendly for all of us aging volunteers, and it can provide some consistency and a central location for all the stuff that we're involved in.
Awesome. Thanks. Great things at Racket Lake happening. Thanks for that update. All right. Next we have Gib.
Hey everybody, Gib Kirkham. I work in the Blue Mountain Lake Association with Michelle Curry, who I think Gail certainly is aware of, and some of you else. Particularly focused on salt management issues for the lake and the impacts of road salt on our ecosystems. But excited about the work that we might do with Hudsonia this year. As a result of a DEC grant that we hope to get to study VLM and its expansion from Utowana Lake into the Eckford chain and ways to mitigate that. We've had some success, but it's a long fight. Thanks.
Thank you. All right, Glenn.
Yes, hi. Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
So my name is actually Brendan Bixby. I'm here on behalf of Glenn, who got tied up and couldn't join. We are part of Ready Scout. We're a lake management firm that works in areas all across New York, including the Adirondacks. And we're looking forward to a successful year of invasive species control and being back on the water out of this cold.
Great. Thank you for joining us this morning. Next, Guy.
Guy Middleton. I'm the director of the Upper Saranac Foundation. This may not be all that popular, but I'm really looking forward to more snowy days, just like today, for more skiing.
It's been a great skiing winter, that's for sure. Next, Heather. All right, and if not, we'll move to Jayla.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Jayla White. I'm the Aquatic Invasive Species Coordinator for Region 6 DEC. I'm based out of Brownville, New York. And one thing that I'm looking forward to in the upcoming field season is getting out on our mechanical harvester, learning how that's going to work out for us, and getting that operation underway.
So that will be an exciting summer for you. All right. Next, we have Jeremy.
Hey folks, my name's Jeremy. I'm a new hire at the New York Natural Heritage Program. I was hired on to do some data analysis to try to figure out how we can best use all of the data at our disposal at the Heritage Program with all the IMAP data, as well as perhaps some data that other folks are collecting to try to figure out to what extent invasive species are a concern for rare species and rare communities, and maybe which ones are particularly particularly bad. I'm a quantitative ecologist, so mostly a statistician, but I've been enjoying going to these PRISM meetings and learning about all the cool work that everyone's doing. So thanks for having me. I just moved back to the state or the region from the West Coast. So what I'm looking forward to is the skunk cabbage doing their cute little like melting the snow rings thing. I haven't seen it in years. It's my first winter back, and I'm super excited for the cute little snow rings.
Nice. Well, welcome back. Next we have John.
Hello, everyone. John Marino, also from New York National Heritage, where I'm the GIS coordinator. Primary thing I'm looking forward to actually is not really so much aquatic related, but indirectly. But it's expanding our New York Protected Areas Database, or NIPAD for short. We're really hoping to get a big push to update the data to really have a comprehensive view of permanently protected lands in New York State. So if anyone is works with a land trust or has conservation easements, we may be interested in data, especially if it's not really reported elsewhere. So if that's of interest, stay tuned to our website, nipad.org, where we'll have more updated reporting forms and that sort of thing. So yeah, thanks so much.
All right, thank you. Thanks for the update. Next we have Justin. And if Justin's not here, we'll go to Kathy.
Hi, everybody. Kathy Welch. I'm with the Chateauguay Lake. My husband and I do the lake management tracker. I'm just looking forward to, after 10 years of working on this quilt, getting it done this winter. That's it.
That is incredible. All right, Lenny. And if Lenny's not here, we'll move to Liz.
Hi, everyone. I'm Liz Reed. I'm with Paradox Lake Association. I'm the new vice president. Been on the board for a couple of years, and I've been head of the Invasives Committee for a year, but been doing it since we found Eurasian water milfoil over 15 years ago. And I like ski season, and I love all the snow, and it brings my kids up and their grandkids. So that some are out snowmobiling, and if you hear some kids in the background, I'm sorry. And but I do look forward to getting back on the lake this summer. And nice to meet you all.
Thanks for joining us. All right, Mark.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Mark. I am a volunteer in the aquatic invasiveness work going on. I live in Minerva, New York, so I look at bodies of water around there, try to figure out what the good stuff and the bad stuff is. So far, I haven't found a lot of bad stuff. Brian, yes, snorkeling is a good way to get down into it and really see what's going on underneath the surface. It's wonderful. I'm indulging my inner aquatic biologist because I'm a retired biomedical scientist. So this is a lot of fun. Loving the snow, loving my skiing. But when ice out is time, and there'll be, boats in. So looking forward to that. Thank you.
Great. Thanks for joining us. Next, Marquis.
Hi, everyone. I'm Marky Moffat. I'm the stewardship manager with AuSable Freshwater Center. Let's see, this year I'm really looking forward to this will be my second year working with AuSable Freshwater Center. Retired from being a chemistry professor, so this is a lot of fun, like Mark just mentioned. It's fun to keep your brain moving, and we're also excited to have rehired our river steward from last year, so this will be her second year as well. And I'm just looking forward to a really fun field season.
Awesome. All right. Next, Mary.
Good morning, everyone. I am with the Chateauguay Lake Foundation, And we are looking forward to continuing in our 19th year of milfoil control on Chateauguay Lake. We're very pleased that we finally started to see results, and we're looking forward to continuing with an integrated program that includes hand harvesting as well as herbicide treatment that seems to have produced some good results a couple of years ago, and we're looking forward to continuing with that approach. So thanks.
Thanks, Mary. Next, Mary Beth. And if Mary Beth's not here, we'll go to Natasha. And then we'll hand it off to Penny.
Penny, this is Bill Bailey. I'm substituting for Penny. She's we were at Hadlock Lake, and what we're looking forward to this year, our big thing is replacing a harvester for the milfoil, which is very expensive.
Mm-hmm. Well, thanks for joining us this morning. Let's hear from Bob.
Morning, everyone. I work and consult with Schroon Lake, Warren County Soil and Water, and Lake George Park Commission. And I look forward to warmer temperatures so I can get out and enjoy the skiing.
All right. Stacy. And we'll hand it off to Sean.
Hey everyone, I'm Sean Kittle. I'm the communications manager with APIPP. I'm looking forward to a lot of things this year. I think the one that's on the top of my mind right now is we just started redesigning our website. So I'm really excited to launch that in a few months.
Really exciting. All right, Sunita.
Hi, everyone. I'm Sunita Hallis. I'm the Clean Water Community Advocate for the Adirondack Council. And I work with lake associations and municipalities. I help people get grant funding, help think about scientific research that will support decision making. And I listen to what people have going on, and I elevate those needs into our government relations space. Something I'm looking forward to this coming up year is that Brian Green and I are planning an invasive species update and what's the future looking like now panel for the annual Adirondack Research Consortium meeting on April 15th and 16th in Lake Placid. And I'm going to paste that in the chat. You'll see on that same page the Applied Water Quality Conference next week that Anna mentioned. And I'm also just going to put my email in the chat in case you want to be in touch. Thanks.
Thank you. All right, let's hear from Susan. All right, we can hand it off to Teresa.
I'm Teresa Hajos. I'm the district technician at Warren County Soil and Water. I'm excited for spring planting and our tree and shrub sale and Arbor Day.
Great. Awesome. All right. If there's anyone else on the call, now is your opportunity. We'd love to hear from you. So just give you a minute.
Hi, Anna. Sorry, I registered this morning. I thought I was registered, but I think I just had this event in my calendar. It didn't actually register. Anyway, my name is Hannah Diebel. I am the Region 5 Aquatic Invasive Species Coordinator with New York DEC, based out of the Warrensburg office. And one thing that I am looking forward to is I am leaving for a very belated honeymoon this weekend to Hawaii for 2 weeks. So I'll be skipping the rest of February and coming back in March.
Oh man, that's awesome. Thanks for joining us today.
Absolutely.
Is there anyone else?
Hi, Anna. It's Susan Clark. Can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you.
Oh, hi.
So I'm Susan Clark from Eagle Lake Property Owners Association, and I am the project manager there for the milfoil and invasive species. And I'm just looking forward to a great 2026 season. We were able to treat in 2025 a portion of our lake, and we're hoping to complete that treatment this year in 2026. And yeah, so that's what I'm excited about.
Great. Thanks for sharing, Susan. Anyone else? All right, then we will continue on. Thank you all for taking the time to introduce yourselves. We've got people from across the park, and it's really incredible to see that representation. So looking forward to the rest of our conversation. Just so you know, after the meeting, we'll send out an email with a link. It's being recorded with any notes that people have sent me as well. And like Sunita did, feel free to drop your contact info into the chat to share that out with folks if you would like. And we will now continue on to our partner updates. So the first of the partners that we'll hear from is the Adirondack Park Agency. And the way we'll structure this is we'll just go through each of the updates, and then afterwards we'll have time to ask questions. All right, so I will hand this off to the APA to do their updates.
Hello. Yeah, I guess the primary update we have is 2025 was showed continued interest in the use of aquatic herbicides in the park, which we've dealt with for permitting purposes. That any potential impacts to wetland resources require permitting. So in January, I gave a presentation to our agency board, reviewing and giving updates on the projects that we did permit in 2025. That was in Mountain View Lake, Highlands Forge Lake, and Eagle Lake, all within the Adirondack Park. And generally showed that the non-target impacts of the use of herbicide were generally consistent with what was anticipated. Also generally showed that residual herbicide Priscillacor in the water column seemed to dissipate as anticipated. And generally speaking, just overall good results seen in the 3 lakes that used Priscillacor herbicide in 2025. In 2026, we're anticipating continued interest in herbicide permits. Looking, as has already been mentioned by Susan and others, Eagle Lake is looking to do additional parts of their lake, and also looking at Minerva Lake coming back for a second treatment. They did a treatment in 2021 and are anticipating a permit for Priscillacor use in 2026. I guess that's the general update. I just want to reiterate that I'm here for all your permitting needs. Anybody who's interested in undertaking projects involving wetlands, that many aquatic invasive species projects do involve wetlands. I'm here as your point person and your contact for all those needs. So looking forward to hearing what everybody else is up to.
All right, thank you, Aaron. All right, our next update comes directly from APIPP. So that's me. Our biggest update right now is that our annual report is complete and available. So if you were able to attend our winter partner meeting, we have been putting together all the details since then, and we have it all ready for you to enjoy for your reading pleasure. So please take a look at that. Overall, we had a really busy and productive 2025 field season. We have a large focus on early detection surveys, are part of our Lake Protector program. So in 2025, we did not identify any new invasive species in the area. We did have 4 new observations of previously known invasive species in the APIPP region, which is It's good to know where they are and what they're doing. So thanks to all of the folks who are out there helping us with the monitoring and the early detection surveys. Of the surveys by lake protectors, so the water bodies surveyed in 2025, over 33% of them reported observing AIS, which means that that's a pretty small percentage still in the APIPP region, which is very, very incredible, and leaves us with a lot of hope for our water bodies that are still uninvaded. So overall, of the 566 lakes and streams and wetlands that APIPP has historically monitored, only 163 of them have one or more of our 16 focal AIS species. So we're continuing to track that, and the only way that we can have an accurate picture of how we're doing and where the AIS is throughout APIPP is with combined efforts. So we're really grateful for all of the partners and volunteers who help us with our annual surveys. Keep those numbers up to date. And this represents what we were seeing out there. So this year we were able to, of our 168 lake protector surveys, they were representing 128 water bodies this year. So really awesome to see lots of different water bodies getting surveyed. Our volunteer count was also really impressive, but we'd love to see that number continue to climb. So make sure you bring your friends with you and help them get excited about monitoring for AIS as well. The more eyes we have on the water, the better, and the more information we can gather about the distribution of aquatic invasive species across the park. So if you are interested in being a lake protector and helping with those aquatic invasive species surveys, we have summer trainings available to help you feel prepared. And again, tell your friends, tell your lake associations. We're holding 3 trainings again this summer, like we do each year. We hold the virtual training on June 23rd. And we'll have 2 in-person trainings, one of them in Blue Mountain Lake on July 8th, and then another in Cranberry Lake in August. We'll be doing the Lake Management Tracker program again. This will be the 9th year. We had some really great participation last year, and many of you are hearing from me now with your reports. So thank you for your hard work. I'm happy to put together that information and help you inform your decisions for managing in 2026. APIPP also had many projects going on this summer. We continued the 3rd year of the Lake Champlain boat launch removal project, continued collecting water samples for milfoil management study. If you're interested in these things, take a look at the annual report. They go in more in depth. We also did eDNA sampling again, and so that's something we're planning to continue. And another thing that APIPP was involved with was milfoil collection to determine potential hybridization between native and invasive species of milfoil. And this was a really exciting project partnered with SUNY Oneonta. Maybe I was out with you collecting these samples, so if so, thank you very much for your help with that. And if you're interested in this project, read the annual report, but also we're having a webinar in March, and we'll have representation from SUNY Oneonta and the lab that's working on this project there, so you can learn more about what they're doing and some of their preliminary results. Is really interesting. APIPP is also hiring. We are hiring again for our seasonal aquatic invasive species assistant. So if you know folks who are interested in that, please send them our way. And I've said it once, I'll say it again, the annual report. Huge project, and it's available for you to take a deep dive into what we've been doing and helps see how your efforts are related to the bigger picture. So please take a look at that, and thank you very much for being such wonderful partners and allowing us to do a lot of work in the aquatic invasive species world here. And lastly, a plug to submit your partner data if you haven't to the partner dashboard. All right. We will move on now to the DEC for updates.
Why don't you go first, Beth? If you have
Okay, last year, we participated in a lot of different outreach events. I actually interacted with over 2,600 people at a variety of events throughout the year. We ran a series of aquatic invasive species identification workshops at a bunch of different local libraries throughout the region and the park. We're hoping to connect with a few more libraries this year. We also ran a bunch of the aquatic invasive species identification workshops for some lake associations. So if there are any lake associations interested in that kind of thing, feel free to contact me. We also did a lot of tabling events. We went to a lot of school events where we have lots of educational games and activities based on aquatic invasive species that we brought to these schools and school functions. Of course, the Invasive Species Expo was a huge hit, as was uh, the the International Canal Conference and the launching of the Seneca Chief. That was a big deal. A little bit further south, and this coming year we have, of course, World Water Day on March 21st at the Plattsburgh Mall. So that's a great event for people to go to. There's also the Northeast Natural History Conference in Burlington, Vermont. That will be April 17th through 19th, so right after the Adirondack Conference. That's a weekend one. And let's see, we also have some environmental events with a lot of the local schools coming up this spring. So, yeah.
Okay, and then I'll kind of talk about the more like monitoring that we've been doing. So, uh, a lot of my work actually keeps me out of the Adirondack Park because we are fighting the invasion front down in the Upper Hudson in Saratoga County. So we wrapped up our Round Goby invasion front monitoring in December this year. We completed a total of 82 electrofishing surveys and collected 88 eDNA samples in the Champlain Canal portion of the Upper Hudson that were analyzed for Round Goby eDNA using qPCR. We were very fortunate to not have any positive detections in any of those samples this year. And then we did not detect or capture any Round Goby upstream of their current invasion front in Waterford, just below the first lock of the Champlain Canal. So that's good. No, nothing new there, which we were pleased to see. We were catching gobies at very low temperatures in December, just above 0 degrees Celsius at Peebles Island, which was a bit of a deviation from previous years. In the past, we typically would see numbers drop off below 10 degrees Celsius. So not really sure what that means the population is doing at this point in time, but an interesting update. We also completed our first season of our baseline community survey of the Upper Hudson River. We're doing this to develop a baseline community data set prior to the invasion of Round Goby so that we can assess any potential ecological impacts if they do disperse upstream. So this involved sampling fish and macroinvertebrate communities using electrofishing, benthic multiplates, and eDNA metabarcoding. We also collected samples for carbon and nitrogen stable isotope analysis to look at food web structure, and we're currently working on getting all of those samples processed and analyzed. Looking ahead to our 2026 season, we will be hiring a seasonal aquatic invasive species technician at the Warrensburg DEC office. That I don't believe it's not posted yet. It's still going through Cornell HR, but that will be posted on the Cornell job website. We'll be resuming our Round Goby backpack electrofishing surveys and eDNA sampling in April, and that will continue through at least November. we are hoping to continue with our baseline community survey of the Upper Hudson. And then also this year, our team is going to be working with Central Office and Region 3 Aquatic Invasive Species staff, as well as Capital Region PRISM, on a project that's testing the effectiveness of aerial drone herbicide application of large-scale water chestnut beds in Schuylerville, New York. So we'll be conducting pre and post application surveys of macroinvertebrates and plants, and I'm not entirely sure what else at this point. And hopefully, or this project was devised by our Region 3 coordinator, which was originally supposed to be conducted in the Lower Hudson. It ended up being less complicated to conduct it in Region 5 in the Upper Hudson. But we're hoping that the results from this project can be used to inform large-scale water chestnut management across the state. So hopefully this will be helpful to APIPP partners as well. So looking forward to that. And I think that's it.
Hi everyone. So my name is Jayla White. I'm the Aquatic Invasive Species Coordinator for Region 6 DEC. So I am just touching the Adirondacks there and currently not doing much work up there. But this past season, we worked mostly on water chestnut management, pulling over 6,500 pounds of water chestnut throughout the region. Just a few updates for the upcoming field season. We took 24 eDNA samples throughout Region 6, and we sent those to the Cornell Genomic Core facility. And we also put out a bid for our WISP program, which is Watercraft Inspection Steward Program. Unfortunately, no one picked up that bid, but we're going to pivot and try to hire 10 stewards through the DEC intern program in hopes to still have a program this season. We are also hiring 2 water chestnut technicians for a water chestnut strike team. They'll be working at Lakeview Wildlife Management Area on our large-scale mechanical harvester project down there. I will also be hiring 1 Cornell technician to assist with fieldwork and the implementation of the Watercraft Inspection Steward program. We will also be continuing our research on waterfowl being vectors of aquatic invasive species through collections of samples during regional goose and duck banding. We are also planning our drone flights with aerial imagery with regional environmental conservation officers to track the progress of the water chestnut spread and the harvesting efforts. And then, of course, we are in works of preparing all the permits for the upcoming field season for hand pulling and harvesting events. So keep an eye out for those job postings, and once they're posted, I will share them around so everyone has access for them. But just like Hannah, a lot of the stuff is currently stuck in HR. So thank you.
All right, thank you so much. We will move our updates on to the Natural Heritage Program.
Sure. So, few things. First, starting with thank you to everyone for all of those who have contributed data to IMAP Invasives in 2025. We've had a really great year of data coming into the database, over 30,000 presence records, 30,000 not detected records statewide. So we thank everyone for submitting data to the system. Right now, we do have our winter mapping challenge for Hemlock Woolly Adelgid. And so there are actually potentially some prizes from both us and the Hemlock Initiative. So any presence in not detected records, if you enter any, you'll automatically be entered into that. So if you want to continue surveying into the winter, feel free to participate in that. We also have a webinar coming up on the 25th at 1 p.m. Looking at how we leverage iNaturalist data in IMAP invasives and in our data analyses and that sort of thing. And so I think Fate might put a link into the chat for that. Um, we are currently also hiring for a invasive species data assistant. I believe Fate will put a link for that as well. Um, a brief note on our mobile app. Currently, you cannot download the IMAP Invasives mobile app in the Android and Google Play. Um, we are working on an update for that this winter. And in the interim, our Survey 123 form can certainly be used on Android if anyone needs to do any surveys, particularly for HWA or that sort of thing. And then a little bit more on the aquatic side. So we are the statewide data managers for the WISP program, the Watercraft Inspection Steward program. So that includes locations in APIPP and the Adirondacks. So thank you to AWI, Lake Champlain Basin Program, lake associations, anyone who's contributed data or, talked with a boat steward this year. So we have created summary reports for that data to send out to the participating programs, and we also will be working on some derivative analysis as well to sort of help tease out certain trends in that data. Um, we also are working on a update to our public WISP mapper, which shows locations where boat stewards and decon services are available across the state. And that system also allows the local programs such as AWI to update it in real time. And that data then feeds into this viewer that we're creating, but it also feeds into platforms like the ADK Clean Boats site. And so we're working on an update to make that a bit more user friendly. So we're excited for that. And then our other various field tools, SAS Pro Simple Aquatic Survey, which is our general macrophyte data collection form, which allows data collection for both native and invasive species. We are still reviewing data for that, uploading it to IMAP invasives as needed, and then now we'll move into updating it for the upcoming field season. And we're also just working on updating our other various field tools. Field season will be here before we know it, so we're hard at work on various updates for a lot of our data collection tools. One final note is that we also are working on IMAP or on bulk uploads for external data sets, perhaps uploaded or created with GPS units or just in GIS format. If you have any data that you'd like to for invasive species that you'd like to have uploaded into the system, feel free to reach out to Fate and myself, and we will work to get that data uploaded. And I think that is about it. So thank you so much.
Thank you for those updates. All right. We will now have a bit of time. We can work through any of those questions that you may have for partners. I did see a recurring theme in the chat that people are interested in hands-on AIS classes. So our Lake Protectors program, the training sessions that we hold for the Lake Protectors includes an aquatic invasive species identification session. So with the virtual training, that's all done virtually. We have lots of images and we'll share tips and tricks on how to identify the species. And then the in-person classes, we have the species on hand so you can touch them and really get to handle them. And also some native lookalikes, so you get to learn some native plants as well that you'll probably see regularly while you're out on the water. And then in connection with that aquatic invasive species ID portion, we also go over how to report your observations using the IMAP app, and also use the Lake Protectors survey form that we use to keep track of all of the water bodies that have been monitored in the APIPP region. So thank you for your interest in that. I hope to see many of you at those trainings. Does anyone have any other questions for the partners that just shared? All right. Well, in that case, we can move things forward. I guess everyone was very clear with their updates, so nicely done, team. And we will start hearing some other updates from organizations and start the conversation about projects that folks have planned for 2026 and ways that we can collaborate and work together on those projects. So we can kick that off and hear from another organization about what you're hoping to accomplish in 2026 or a volunteer.
I'd be happy to volunteer.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Well, so I'm Marky Moffett. I'm the stewardship manager at AuSable Freshwater Center. And really what I do is I try to build bridges between community and the work that we do in a nutshell. What I learned when I started was a lot of people think about stewardship and outreach, and I think the tendency is to think about kids, but my focus really is more on adults. They make up the vast majority of the population in the Adirondacks. And so I'm always looking for ways that I can connect with adult communities. I don't exclude kids. Kids can come along, and I do programming specifically for kids as well. But I do try to develop stuff that's very engaging for adults as well. And one of the things that just kind of like a little nugget of a plan starting to bloom, but it's really packed under the snow still, just like the rest of us, is this idea that I'd like to start doing mini science celebrations with lake organizations. So a lot of you are on here today. What I plan to do really is target the ones that we're working with through our work with the SCALE program. But I'd really be interested if you already have like a celebration day that you think would be fun to have somebody come and talk about the science of your lake or the research that is happening or could be happening in your lake. Give me a shout. I'm going to put my email address here in the chat, and I'd love to connect. Even if this idea doesn't go anywhere, it would be fun to connect and see if there are other projects that we can work on together. And I think I'll leave it at that for now. Thanks.
Thanks for sharing. That's a really awesome idea. A great way for us to work together.
I'll piggyback on top of what Marquis said. I do agree. It's awesome to do celebrations, and the lake associations are really important groups here. And they provide so much great stewardship and help out with so many of our projects and things on the community. So they're super important. I'll put a little early plug. We are in the process. I know Sean is busy figuring out how we're going to revamp our Sips for Science event, and we're going to repurpose it for part of ISOL. So in June of this year. So that could be a great place where lake associations or other groups could come together and we could celebrate all the great things that we do together. And I'll put a link in the chat to our Love Your Lakes brochure that we worked with many of the partners on here that highlights the 8 easy things that people can do to help steward their lakes. And that's not just the aquatic invasive species things like clean, drain, dry, and properly disposing of bait, but also things about like not putting down too much salt, protecting the shoreline, using native plants. So this was a really cool project, and there's this awesome little brochure we made. And if you want some of them, reach out to us, and we can get you some copies.
Great. Yes. Looking forward to that event this spring.
Brian, can I ask a question? Is there an online version of that to be able to post to a website?
Yeah, we have a PDF of it, and
Okay.
we have a website. If I'm finding it rapidly, trying to bring it up in my browser, and I'll drop it in the chat.
Okay, great. Thank you.
I'll look too, Brian, if you don't. Whoever finds it first. I have it bookmarked.
I have a question. This is Mary.
Hi, Mary.
Hi, Anna. I was wondering if Marky could talk more about the SCALE program that she mentioned.
I'd be happy to tell you some about the SCALE program. So, Ausable Freshwater Center is a group of 10, and I have a science background, but I don't work actively on the SCALE program. So, our SCALE program scientists are mostly our water quality team and as well as our biodiverse habitats team. And this is a program that was funded by the New York State Environmental Bond Act. And we are one of a group, kind of a consortium of science teams that are working. We're going to be surveying, I forget the exact number, but it's many lakes over the course of 3 years. A few of them, I think 10, will be monitored for all 3 years. And then there's another batch that's slightly larger of lakes that will be monitored for one entire year during that 3 year process. And then the rest of the lakes in this set, and I wish I could remember the number off the top of my head, are going to be sampled once over the course of the 3 years. So this summer will be the first real summer that we're getting a field team out. We had a field team that started last summer, but things were kind of delayed. You know, it's hard when you have a whole bunch of teammates working to kind of get that diesel engine moving. So we got it moving a little bit later in the summer. So this summer will be the first full field season, and it's two of our staff going out pretty much full time with four kind of field technicians, and we're collecting samples that include water as well as we do electrofishing. We are collecting samples for eDNA. We're also collecting samples for the carbon and nitrogen stable isotope work that was mentioned earlier. And we send our samples to other organizations within our network who are also involved with SCALE. And some of those include, for example, our PI is doing some work with us, Cornell. A lot of our samples go to Cornell. And I don't know, Mary, do you have any specific questions, or were you kind of looking for an overview like that?
Well, I wanted to just know more about it. I've just heard it referenced in different places, but it's not something that we had not heard about it.
Well, what I can do also is the SCALE program just published a website within the last few days. So I'll pull up that link myself and I'll put it in the chat so that everybody can have a look. I haven't even looked at it yet. It's so fresh. I just found out it exists yesterday. So I can pull that up and share that in the chat and everybody can have a look at it. And, you know, my email address is a little bit further up now in the chat, but you're welcome to reach out to me and I can definitely connect you with people who are more directly involved if you're interested in learning more.
Okay, great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I think Brian beat you to the punch. I see SCALE on the chat.
I put in some links that I found, but Marky can put in her new website one. These are just some links to like the blogs and the write-up stories that have been done in the past year. So yeah, SCALE is super exciting. Great to build off of this understanding of all the different lakes, and they're also talking about invasive species and doing some eDNA monitoring as part of it. So a great resource for the Adirondacks. I also see there were several different questions or things going on in the chat about drones. So using both things in the air that can take pictures of um, lakes or plants or different things, and then also underwater um, ROVs. APIPP, we do have one of these underwater ROVs, and we've used it. They're definitely a good tool of collecting videos or photos of underwater plants and animals. So yeah, if you're interested in learning more about that, you can reach out to Anna or me, and I don't know if Carolyn is on and she wants to chime in anything about uh, above the air flying drones.
Yep, I can chime in a little bit. APIP is also trying to explore this question. We just purchased a new drone at the end of 2024, so I've been getting it up to speed and starting to use it a little bit. It to Brian's point, I think he mentioned in the chat that it's easier to use for plants that have parts of them on the surface rather than underwater plants, at least for aerial drones. I'm not as familiar with underwater ROVs, but it's a little bit different for lake systems. But in terrestrial systems, one good problem that we have in APIP is that using drones has been a little bit hard for us because our populations are so small, so they're a little bit harder to detect from the air. But that's a good problem to have where we are. My predecessor was using drones to find Phragmites in wetlands and mixed results because of how small some of the patches were. So stay tuned. Hopefully, APIP will also be undertaking some of this work. I know Brian has some similar interest to what people were saying in the chat in terms of using drones for some aquatic treatment, possibly.
Hi, this is Mark Denacor. I had a question for Anna.
Hi, Mark.
Anna, so we're having some difficulty finding people to harvest invasive species. And I was wondering if APIP has a comprehensive list of terrestrial and aquatic invasive species harvesters that you could share with the group.
Yeah, we are familiar with some of the organizations doing that work. We've contracted some ourselves, and then we have communicated with lakes who also have used contractors for AIS removal. So yeah, we do have some names that we can share out. But also, I'd encourage you to chat with the other folks on the call and see if they have advice for you as well. But we can share the list that we have.
And not just aquatic, but also terrestrial invasives. I'm interested in seeing if we get some names of people that do that kind of harvesting as well.
Yeah, we can chat with Ari about that.
Okay.
On the terrestrial side of things.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
But
I'm glad you could be here, Mark.
yeah,
Thanks.
we'll also chime in. Well, we have a list. It is a very short list, as Mark knows, and it is definitely an area that we are capacity limited in the Adirondacks. There are only a few companies that do this kind of work, and so it is becoming more and more of a challenge.
Yeah, I was kind of wondering if there's a way for APIP and others to try to encourage people to get into this business. It is fairly lucrative because there's a lot of demand, but not a lot of supply. Wondering if there's a way to encourage people to start companies to do this kind of work. It's a problem. I mean, we're having money given to us to do this work, but we're having trouble finding people that are willing to do it.
Yeah, that is definitely something we've been having some discussions with at kind of like the higher level. It is definitely a challenging uh, issue, you know. The the supply demand, the economics of it, trying to find workers, the seasonal nature of the business. So yeah, it is something that we are aware of. We ourselves are trying to hire the same contractors that all of you other lake associations are trying to hire, and the ones that are still in business have a pretty full schedule, so it's not like they're sitting around and they have all this extra time available. So yeah, it is definitely a regional issue and something that I think we have to start talking about through groups like our Adirondack Lakes Alliance, talking with people like Sunita and the Adirondack Council, thinking about like, hey, how can we all have this similar pain point. How can we try to work together to see if there's ways we can come up with solutions?
Thank you.
Brian, if I can just jump in a little bit on the drones, the Upper Saranac Foundation has tested drones fairly extensively, actually with the DEC. And, some of the drawbacks were that when the drones were too high, so this is looking at plants from the air. When the drones were too high, we couldn't see through the the clarity of the water to see plants. And when they were too low flying, it created prop wash that prevented us from the visibility through the water. And we did also test some underwater drones, but obviously technology has changed, but we still find that surface spotting on calm, clear, sunny days is by far better than any other ways of uh, looking for plants from above the water.
Yeah, Sunita.
Sure. I just wanted to follow up on Brian's statement about shared pain points. And I wanted to say that the council has been working for a couple of years on this lake association legislation that would help to give money to these low capacity organizations that are often, especially in the Adirondacks, fully volunteer run. And it's complicated. We modeled the original legislation that we proposed on Wisconsin Lake District programs, where in Wisconsin, the whole state is divided up into these districts, and each district gets a portion of funding that goes directly to lake associations. We are now, that legislation did not move too far, but we are now revising it with new ideas that are underway, and we're bringing in ideas from like New Hampshire, where boater registration fees, additional boater registration fees help to fund a pool of money that lake associations can draw from. We're also thinking about things like uh, the word is escaping me, but when there's a the Land Trust Alliance, that's the word. The Land Trust Alliance is oversees a fund that helps with land acquisition. And is that a model that could then also work in our state for getting funding directly to lake associations? So we're not all just kind of competing with each other for the same grant sources and reinventing the wheel from one lake to a neighboring lake, but just being able to do more together. So it's all still very much in process, but we are not giving up, and we just keep on bringing in new information.
Well, thanks for sharing. Yeah, there are several layers to that. Finding the funding to do the work, and then finding folks who can provide that service. If any other folks have questions for the other folks on the call, or would like to give a little update on what you're looking ahead towards in 2026, this is a great opportunity to yeah, to ask some questions and collaborate with the folks here. As always, you can always reach out to us individually as well, and there's a lot of great info in the chat, as well as contact information to keep these conversations going.
I can give an update for Warren County Soil and Water.
Thanks, Teresa.
We'll be doing, we have 2 district staff that are scuba certified, and they'll be doing plant surveys on Brant Lake in the areas that they treated with Priscilla for milfoil. And then we're also working with the Lake George Park Commission to do surveys at all of the boat launches. And then we're doing surveys on Trout Lake as well. And then I'm also going to throw in the chat, we have a water quality strategy committee for Warren County that's made up of like landowners and lake associations that you can sign up for on our website.
Thanks for that. Thanks for the update.
Anna, this is Kathy Welsh. Can I ask a question?
Yeah, go for it.
I think the question probably is for the DEC. I know last summer Chateauguay Lake was not able to put down Priscilla because of the conditions of the milfoil at the time. We had a very wet and late spring, and so the milfoil wasn't showing up. Is there any movement from the DEC about the timing of when Priscilla needs to be applied in lakes so that it can take advantage of maybe later growing seasons? I'm just thinking about how cold this winter has been, and if we keep going in this way, we might have the same type of issues for this summer.
This is Aaron from the Adirondack Park Agency. I may be able to provide a little more context for that. Yeah, I recognize that last year the milfoil didn't show up in all the places it was anticipated to be for who knows which of a potential multiple reasons that may be. But that permit is still good for this year, and currently it's required that the work be done by the end of June. Or yes, and no, there has not yet been any movement in terms of moving that further back in the season. The primary purpose being that the milfoil obviously does come up a little sooner than the native vegetation, and we want to get that treatment in when the biomass is low and you're hitting the milfoil at the youngest age possible. And not having as much dieback in the milfoil population. So to date, we're still holding firm on that June point, but the issue is understood that we need to be monitoring when the milfoil is coming up, and your activities to control that needs to be lined up with when the resource is actually there.
Yeah, and I don't know if anybody from like Ready Scout wants to jump in on this, but once again, it's talking about it's just like the nature of this tool. So at APIPP, we talk a lot about integrated plant management, trying to use the right tool at the right place at the right time. And so, one of the things about doing this chemical management with Priscilla is that we want the timing to be, just right. So like Aaron said, we're trying to take advantage of some of the biology of these invasives where they grow a little bit earlier in the season. And so they can be targeted earlier in the time period, but then also not too late in the time period, because then, trying to make sure that there's no water quality impacts. APIPP, we've been doing water quality monitoring as part of the ALAP program with 5 different lakes that have been monitoring water quality there, looking at areas that are doing different milfoil management. We did a preliminary analysis of the 2024 data and looking at that big picture things. We didn't see any impacts of water quality on areas that did management with milfoil versus areas that didn't do management versus what the historical records are. We haven't gotten the 2025 field data back from the lab yet, but we're looking to get that and hopefully showing that a similar type trend. So the idea is that by doing, and we also looked at other, not just chemical management, we did lakes that did hand harvesting, we had lakes that had no management, and our idea and hypothesis that we are testing with this research is that management done correctly does not have an impact on water quality parameters at this upper water surface levels. And so that's what we saw for 2024. And so part of it is just like that targeted kind of nature for it. So we're continuing to work on studies with that, and hopefully that'll be another resource for our communities.
Thanks for chiming in on that, Brian. All right. If anyone has any final updates, now is your time. But thank you so much, everyone, for joining us and sharing in this discussion of things that we're thinking about at this time of year, looking ahead, and also looking back kind of at the in-between of the seasons. So there are a lot of great resources that have been shared in the chat. We'll send out an email with many more resources and some of those same resources, so that you have all the tools that we can share with you. And looking ahead also, APIPP has a couple of different events. We have that spring webinar that I referenced earlier, where we can learn a little bit more about what was going on with that invasive and native milfoil research. So we'll hear from Suni Oneonta, among others. So that is something we're highly anticipating, and I'll send out some information about that as it gets a little bit closer, but expect that in late March. We also are holding our spring partner meeting in May, and we'll be sending out some more information about that as well. So we hope that we can see you virtually at the webinar again, and then in person at the spring partner meeting. We also talked a lot about our outreach materials. On our website, you can submit an order for these materials, or you can always reach out to us and we can help you with that. We have a lot of resources and we want them out there so that you can use them and you can share them. So please don't hesitate to take advantage of all of these resources that are for you. So. And lastly, most importantly, we really appreciate you. Thank you for joining us today to talk, and also for being such incredible partners for many years, many of you. So I hope we can see you at some of our future events. And I would also love to see you at those AIS trainings this summer, so we can get more folks out on the water doing our monitoring program. And if you have any questions about those, please reach out, and I'd be happy to chat with you and continue to work with you in the future.
And
And
before we go, I just put the link. You should sign up for our email newsletter. We do a monthly email newsletter, and some of the events and stuff that Anna mentioned will all be reminders and signups and things like that will be in the newsletter. I just put the link in the chat for that, and maybe Anna can include it in her follow-up email too. But if you click that link, you should be able to just sign up for our newsletter.
Yeah, perfect. Thanks, Sean. Yeah, so we will now end the structured part of our meeting. And if you'd like to hang on for a couple more minutes to chat or ask any final questions, you're absolutely welcome to. But thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you.
Thank you.